the progression of wealth destruction, the road to CBDCs and slavery. What is coming if we do not wake up? If we are not wide awake, as Abraham Lincoln once said. We don't have to put up with this, though. We don't have to put up with CBDCs. We don't have to put up with slavery. We don't have to put up with full surveillance and the overlords running your life every step of the way from cradle to grave. This is not how humans were meant to be. We are God's highest form of creation. We were not meant to be pigs in a corral. Enough said. Let's jump into this. Brandon here. First, people, take this ride. When I saw Mike Maloney show me old dollars that people used to be able to claim for gold nearly 100 years ago, it hit me like a truck. Fiat paper is just an IOU, a credit debt-based system. That's it. That's all we are living on is an IOU. So technically, when you take dollars and you're saving dollars, that could be looked at as a liability on your balance sheet. People forever thought, well, generally they were assets, but when they're not backed by anything, when they're just pieces of paper, they're actually liabilities. It's credit, it's debt. You actually owe that back to the central bank with interest. So it actually is a liability. When you start thinking in those terms, you start seeing the problems of what's going on here. And the thing that changed for me with understanding and really getting into gold and silver and Bitcoin was, I believe it was Andy Tanner actually, explains that when you are going along something, and years ago studying Andy Tanner, when you're going along something, you are buying it, right? You're saying, I believe in this thing long term. I believe this thing is going to be here 10, 30, 50, 100 years from now. So when you are shorting something, you are saying that you want out of that. You do not believe in it long term. When you're selling something, that's the process, that's how that works. So we have to understand that difference. And when you start understanding that, that's when I had been saving, I'm investing, I'm just working day to day for years, setting, just trying to stockpile cash. And I all of a sudden realized, oh my goodness, I am going long the dollar. But it was against everything I thought, though. I didn't want that. I knew the dollar was crashing long term. I knew that the governments had to absolutely print us into oblivion. All fiat currencies have gone to zero. They have a 100% failure rate. So why am I holding dollars? Why am I looking at it like it's an asset on my balance sheet when in reality it's technically a liability? We have to be honest with ourselves. That is the truth, right? So that's when all of a sudden the switch went off really in my head about 4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago, and I was, boom, I'm in. I'm trading a lot of this cash for Bitcoin and some gold and silver, getting into hard assets. I believe in long term that will be here long term. Again, actual wealth was stolen, and we are operating in promises because, as you can see here, 100 years ago, $10 in gold coin payable to the bearer on demand. The money actually used to be worth something. And we're not going to go into the history of money. This is not the episode to do this, but what we are looking at here is an IOU, just like Dumb and Dumber. You might want to hold on to that one. That's an IOU. Fortunately, it's not as good as money, though. So you have to understand what you're holding because you're getting rug pulled. You are the one sitting with your crypto, your Bitcoin in exchange, and it's getting rug pulled by Sam Bankman-Fried, by FTX. That's the legacy banking system. They're just out there shuffling papers around, and you're holding a paper, but you don't have the actual asset. You don't have the real thing. You don't have the money. That's the aha. That's the true aha. And the best series I've ever seen that explains this is Mike's Hidden Secrets of Money. That series is 10 episodes long right now. It's about 25 to 30 minutes each with cartoons. And he said he has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars putting this series together over the last 10 years. It's one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. You have to go check that out because it will put everything into perspective for what's going on. So let's run through this really quickly because what this is a couple-step process is to really a quick couple-minute history of money and where we're going and what we can do about it. So most of us, again, grow up in our whole lives being told from our parents or school, how to think about money or not to think about money. And we can only receive from our parents and our teachers what they have. We can only receive what they have. That's it. It's not their fault. But someone must break this perpetual cycle. Some way, somehow, you must break out. Mine was seeing Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki real estate book in a grocery store about 12 years ago and blowing my mind open, saying, why hadn't school taught me this? Why hadn't someone taught me this about money, making money for you, assets versus liabilities, the cash flow quadrant, everything about cash flow, right? And building businesses, building B quadrant businesses instead of S quadrant businesses, and all the fixins, as they say, diving into that headlong, sound money, everything. That's what put me down that trail 12 years ago, right when that financial crash, the great financial crash was happening. So that was my journey. That was part of my story. We've talked about it here before. So you must break out of that somehow. You must have someone turn you and say, hey, you need to go look at this. Or something has to, kind of by fate or whatever, run into something, a book that blows your mind open, blows your context open, like mine was. And then it just sent me down a rabbit hole for the last 12 years of studying everything I could, watching every video I could on sound money, on investing, and then going and doing it myself and learning, physically doing it while supplementing it with education. Again, does a fish know if they're wet if they've lived their entire life in the water, right? So we have to break our context out. We have to constantly be searching, asking questions. This is what we're constantly doing in this channel here. Are we asking questions? Are we trying to figure out what is the truth? Are we asking both sides what's going on? Are we asking all 4 sides what's going on? All 10 sides what's going on? Are we triangulating the correct positioning and all constantly checking our assumptions, right? Because if you're on this fiat Titanic, like we've been saying for a long time, it's one of my favorite memes, you're on this fiat Titanic, and look, are you crazy? The US dollar is going up. I see this argument all the time still from educated people, financial people on Twitter or whatever. USD is going up and Bitcoin is much too volatile. Yeah, that's because you're on the bow or the stern, whatever that would be. You're on the stern of the Titanic and it's going up in the air, but you're sinking. And it's a slow descent to the bottom, right? Because it's going to take a while, right? The world reserve currency is the dollar. Doesn't mean it's not sinking. The dollar's lost 99% of its value over the last 100 plus years since 1913, since they opened the doors in 1914. So we have to understand what we're on, and Bitcoin is that life raft. It's the sinking, or it's the vessel to get off in the parallel economy outside this fiat Titanic. That's what we're on right now. And it just sinks slowly enough, 2% inflation a year, 2% we're going to rob you and steal from you every single year, so you don't really notice. But now when it gets to 8%, 10%, 15%, or 1,000%, like we see in Venezuela, Argentina, some of these countries, then people really understand. They're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? But for some reason, people like being stolen with about 2 to 10%. That's kind of like their window. They're like, okay, I'm okay being stolen from just that much, my wealth, my time, energy. That's okay, you can steal from me. Again, then people see it up close, though. This is the next step. They see it up close in the form of the earth shaking under them. Their currency goes into hyperinflation, or the stores shelves are empty, like we just talked about, or their energy bills are 10x during the winter, seeing that as well. Their currency is getting destroyed. Inflation is through the roof. Unproductive class is messing with your livelihood by printing your worthless currency into oblivion, stealing your time and energy. And we can see here, this is again, not a meme stock. This is not a meme stock. It's the Great British Pound against the dollar. That's a global currency. That is a highly regarded currency, as the boys say, right? So what is going on here, right? We saw this with the ruble and the dollar doing this. That's not how this works. Money is money. Money should not be doing that. And again, then you may not realize that the overlords, the banking cartel, and globalists are squeezing you purposely. So now you're getting to that next step of realizing, oh my goodness, I think these people are doing it on purpose. They're trying to cause these problems because let's be honest, these problems are not that hard. Again, asking questions here, these aren't that hard. If a normal dude from Michigan, playing hockey his entire life can figure this out over the last 10 years, this isn't that hard. It's really not that complicated. Very, very simple, basic math, things like that. But again, they want you in a corner so that you beg and beg for more of that safety and security, from the unproductive class, which they'll gladly trade you for your freedoms. Remember, Ben Franklin said, comes out and they say, "What, Mr. Franklin, what kind of government did you give us? A republic, if you can keep it." And I believe it was him also that said, if you're asking for safety and security, you will get neither and deserve none. So we have to continually check ourselves, check our assumptions, and constantly question what we're doing and the leaders and the people we have leading us. Again, they help push you. The overlords that we elect in, a lot of them we elect in. That's the crazy part. A lot of the overlords that we have, we elect into power. That's a whole different story. We're not going to get into that. But a lot of them we do have control over, quite honestly. We do. They help push you over the edge and bribe you with maybe a $5,000 or a $10,000 stimmy right in your mobile app, your CDC mobile app, right in your account, saying, hey, if you come to our app and let us surveil you and have you as our slave the rest of your life, and control everything you do, and shut off your car, and shut off your money, and take your money from you whenever we want, we'll give you $5,000 or $10,000 right now. We'll give you $100,000, $50,000, $1,000, $600, $1,200, whatever it costs. Whatever every person's got their amount, right? Their fiat amount that they're worth, and they know that. And here's Klaus Schwab, the leader of them all, the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing, and you will rent everything, and you will be happy. Who are we renting from? It's from Mr. Klaus himself, Mr. Klaus and Bigglesworth and BlackRock and all these goons out here that we let really over decades and decades have all this power stemming from central banking, which is, again, as we say, in one of the 10 tenets of the Communist Manifesto. If you want to know where we're going, please go check out some of our videos we did earlier this year on the Communist Manifesto and going through the bullet points there, the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto and where we are going, where we are headed. And this affects everybody. And some people think they're going to be okay. They're going to make the winners in this. People like big tech, the Googles, the Twitters, like all these different people, YouTube, all these different people think they're going to be the ones that are going to win in this world. They're not going to win. You're not going to win, especially the average pleb, especially the person working for those companies. You don't win. No one wins. Only a select few, like a little fractional hair follicle amount is who wins. We're talking a couple dozen people. The people at the World Economic Forum. Klaus even talks about this. You can go see the videos on YouTube. Again, all these things are recorded. These people love telling you who they are and what they are. Noel Harari, Klaus saying, it'll be a few of us that run the world basically. And if you don't comply, well, you're just gonna go live on the side over here, and we're gonna run the world. And they just talked about this recently. So again, ask questions. Go dive into that. Don't take my word for it. Go seek that out. Go seek that knowledge out so you have that and you can combat that and you can talk to other people who are being sheep. Go talk to them. And again, if you're liking this video, please like and subscribe to this. Please let me know what you think here in the comments below and what you're doing to combat this and what you're doing to ask questions and find truth. That's what we all should be on a mission for, is finding truth. So again, please like and subscribe. If you like this, you want more content, we're going to be doing more current events, obviously, as well, and talking about how we can become more independent and resilient. So again, after that, they want you in the system. They want you to surveil you and control you no matter what. And remember, you will own nothing and be happy. Like we said, here's the CBDC and how it looks compared to the freedom that's available to all of us. The CBDC has an unlimited supply, centralized, opaque monetary policy, closed, permission, so it means you have to ask to use it, risk of seizure, privacy invasive, enable censorship. Weird. Who would want that? Nigeria, the Nigerians, we just did a video about that recently. They're already rejecting it. Big rejection. They know, they understand. Bitcoin, no. Hey, you want freedom? Great. Limited supply of 21 million. Cannot be debased. People can't steal your money, can't rug you. It's decentralized. So there's a billion points of failure instead of one. Clear monetary policy, or I should say there's all kinds of robustness. So it's hard to fail. There's not just one choke point. There's not just one place of failure. If you take out one, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the system. One node or one miner. Clear monetary policy. We know every 4 years the supply gets cut in half. You don't have to go ask the FOMC and wait on pins and needles to see what they're going to do. Open and permissionless. Anyone can use it. Anyone can be banked. A homeless man in San Francisco, a couple in Nigeria, or a man in Thailand, or a woman in Russia. It doesn't matter. You can use it. You can use it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you love humanity and you have empathy and sympathy for people across the world who have been taken out of the system, Bitcoin is for you. It's unconfiscatable, privacy conscious, censorship resistant. Boy, oh boy, what an incredible world we have in front of us. So what do we do? How do we become sovereign and take control of our wealth and property? The first is to buy Bitcoin from Swan Bitcoin or from Strike, some Bitcoin-only platforms that are leaders in Bitcoin education and the crusade of freedom for all and liberty for all, for life, liberty, and happiness for all. Then you can get ready to plug your long-term wealth, your Bitcoin, into cold storage wallet right here. We have our retirement or our savings. You think about that cold storage wallet. I like the Blockstream Jade, Cold Card. Those are great. And Trezor's, okay. I think they have some other altcoins they use too. So I like the Blockstream Jade and Cold Card because they're Bitcoin only. And they are open source. Love open source things. So we know what's going on. People can audit what's going on, and there can't be anything slipped in there. So love all those three just because they're all open source. That's why I have them in there. And again, if you want some in your day-to-day wallet, you think of just like a normal wallet you have in your pocket for your bill pay, stuff like that, your checking, you think of hot wallets. So a mobile app on your phone. Maybe you have a couple $100 in there or something like that. Moon, love Moon Wallet. It's my favorite by far. And there's Samurai. I use Blue Wallet, Wall Satoshi, Aqua, Pine Wallet. There's a number of other ones, but just awesome stuff where you can use those wallets to pay people back and forth. An infinitely better version of PayPal, pay bills, all that jazz. So just incredible stuff right there. I always love talking about what we're using and how we're using it. And those are just so simple. I mean, it takes a couple minutes, literally 5 minutes max, to set up your cold storage wallet. Then it takes 30 seconds to log in each time if you want to. And that's your cold storage, your savings, your retirement. And again, this is not free financial advice. This is freedom advice. If you want more freedom advice, again, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you want more freedom advice going forward, we're not going to tell you what to do. We're going to tell you what we're doing and what we've seen, thousands of other people doing and having success with, people we've learned from, the things we've experienced. And like I said, it's freedom advice, not financial advice. So please go check those out. These are awesome, awesome wallets to use. Hot wallets literally take, Moon Wallet, I have a tutorial on here that we just did like a month ago. Within 3 minutes, you can have your hot wallet set up, backed up, everything, good to go. Can transfer value across the world instantaneously for fractions of a penny. Final settlement. You can't do it with a credit card. It's impossible to do it with a credit card. Venmo, PayPal, people are surveilling you. Garbage. Remember, you go to work and spend your time and energy. Your wealth is just your time and energy, and you spend that away from your family. Don't make an unfair trade for yourself. Do not trade your finite time for infinite pieces of paper or digits on a computer. That's insanity. That would be like trading your finite time for infinite blades of grass or grains of sand. Why would you make that trade? Why? Why would you make that trade? Your finite time is worth something equally finite. Bitcoin, where there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and no one can rug pull you like the government or exchanges or banks or supervillains, bond villains, whatever. And this is, again, a drawing I made showing your time and energy being poured into a container. And Bitcoin is a perfectly sound container with no holes in it, filling up over time. Sound money, Bitcoin. Gold and silver were the best thing we had. Now we have Bitcoin. That's perfectly sound, no inflation. It's the only thing we know, the only thing that's finite like our time. Where now you have broken currencies, all these fiat currencies we've had, they all have inflation rates. A little hole in your container, you're filling it up with your economic time and energy. It's just leaking out at 10% inflation a year, or 5%, or 2%, or 100%, or 50%, just being stolen from you daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Make a fair trade for yourself. Make a fair trade. We no longer have to play their games. Never in human history have we had the ability to opt out and live in a parallel universe until the old system crashes and burns. We can just sit there and wait. We can watch the Titanic go down. We can watch this fiat Coliseum. These people argue with each other, red and blue, black versus white, man versus woman. Garbage. We can opt out easily within minutes, like I just showed you. And then go watch some other videos. Bitcoin Sessions has amazing videos on YouTube how to do all these things. We have some tutorial videos on here as well. But independence and resilience are the essence of freedom. And the more we have, the less we all need our overlords and the Klaus Schwabs and all of the monetary demons, as Nico and Abdi say, from the governments and alphabet soup global agencies. We don't need you. We're not going to have you. We're going to play our way. We appreciate you and your time. Thank you for spending it here. Please like and subscribe if you like this, you want more of this content. Let us know what we can do to better serve you and give you better content and value. And what we are doing poorly, please let us know as well. Dislike it, let us know in the comments. We can battle it out there. We can change and get better as we go here. Again, appreciate you and your time. It's the most important thing we have. It's the only finite thing we have besides Bitcoin, right? I'll see you on the next one.